Let's go ahead and call the Senate to order. Sergeant Arms will please secure the chamber doors. Members, please take your seats. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. President.
All right, Senators, on this very busy Thursday, February 12th, we have Reverend Meredith West of St. Mark's United Methodist Church in Easton, Maryland, guest of the distinguished senator from the 37th District. Please rise for the invocation.
Thank you. Let us pray. For all the names we have for you, Sacred One, we claim that you have ordered the stars, the sea, the sky, and the earth, and you have placed us here to tend to it and to one another. We confess that we don't always see clearly the path of love, and we don't always agree. Forgive us for the times our disagreements have kept us from hearing you. Let your holy will be known, heard, and acted upon in this hall of justice and law today. As we whisper the name of the one who directs our steps, may each one here know your wisdom and be brave to act upon it. Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Recognize the senator from the 37th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to request that we can journalize the remarks of Reverend West.
Without objection, most certainly. Thank you, Senator, for that, and we will journalize the Reverend's remarks.
Thank you. It's a special honor for me to have Reverend West and her husband David. You know, I attended kindergarten at St. Mark's, and there's a lot of old records of Johnny Mounts within that building. So God bless you and thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Very good. Very good. All right. Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 39 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland is again back in session. Senators, we have a very busy day today. We're going to have a little bit of bouncing around because we're trying to be a bit flexible for some of our special guests that will be joining us. We're going to start, though, we have some resolutions. Let's start with the senator from Prince George's.
On November 17th, 1911, 3 Howard University undergraduate students, with the assistance of their faculty advisor, gave birth to the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. The men you see around the State House today, if you look forward, if you look behind you, and the royal purple and the old gold, these are my brothers, the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated 2nd District. Omega Psi Phi is a historic fraternity recognized as the first international fraternal organization founded on a campus of a historically black college and university. The mighty 2nd District spans 5 states: New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and the great state of Maryland. With more than 2,000 members, the 2nd District is committed to service, advocacy, and brotherhood. Omega Psi Phi has cultivated a powerful and enduring force of men dedicated to the cardinal principles of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. Today, we are proud to have 100 brothers in Annapolis advocating for the promotion of manhood, fairness, and racial equality, principles our founders sought to advance when they established our fraternity in 1911. Joining me today on the floor, we have our 2nd District representative, Brother Amir Sharif. We have Brother David Patterson, who is our Corridor 1 representative for the state of Maryland. And we have Brother Altman Pinnell, who is the special advisor to the district representative. Please join me in giving a warm Senate welcome to my brothers, the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. The clerk will read the resolution in full.
Clerk will read the resolution in full.
Be it hereby known to all that the Senate of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, 2nd District, Corridor 1, in recognition of 100 Qs in Annapolis Day and for your commitment to public service, advocacy, and community empowerment through brotherhood. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented on this 12th day of February, 2026.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. To the gentlemen of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, the 2nd District, Corridor 1, thank you for being here with us. We welcome you and appreciate your great work in the community and helping to build a better Maryland. Thank you. All right. Next up, I believe we have, yes, from the Upper Eastern Shore, Senator representing the 36th District.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. It is my pleasure to welcome the Kent Island High School boys lacrosse team. They are the winners of the 2025 2A Maryland State Boys Lacrosse Championship. This is their 3rd state title in the last 4 years. And I'd ask the body to please join me in congratulating the Kent Island boys lacrosse team. With us today, along with the team, is head coach Bob Woolley, athletic director Kate Beaton, and accepting the resolution on behalf of their team are Connor Bine and Logan Donovan. The Senate can please join me in welcoming them and read the resolution, Mr. President.
The clerk will read the resolution in full.
be it hereby known to all that the Senate of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Kent Island High School boys lacrosse team in recognition of winning the Maryland 2A State Lacrosse Championship. We applaud your outstanding season and wish you many more. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented on this 12th day of February, 2026.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? If so, the clerk will take the call. To the young men of Kent Island High School boys lacrosse team, congratulations on your Maryland 2A State Lacrosse Championship. Well done and congratulations. Remember to keep up that great work on the field and in the classroom. Champions in both. Champions in both. All right. Thank you all for joining us. All right, Senators. Do we have any introductions of folks who may have to stop by quickly? Any introductions of, yes. Oh, Senator from Prince George's.
Thank you, though. Not an introduction, but I would take this moment because we've been asked sometimes, you'll see that the African-American senators here are wearing their kente cloth stoles. And during Black History Month, particularly on Thursdays, you might see us with these on. And you may ask, well, why? Why are we doing that? The kente cloth really represents a reconnection to Africa. It serves as a bridge across generations and across the Atlantic Ocean. Now, originally woven by the Ashanti and the Ewe peoples of Ghana, each kente pattern carries meaning. The colors are symbolic. Gold represents wealth and royalty. Black represents spiritual strength and maturity. Green symbolizes growth. And red honors sacrifice and struggle. Every thread tells a story. Now, during slavery, our African cultural identities were stripped away. Names, languages, religions, and traditions were lost or suppressed. Kente cloth stands as a reclaiming of that history, a visible affirmation that our African heritage endures and that we are proud of it. We wear them collectively as a visual reminder of our unity in experience and purpose. It's a powerful symbol of identity, heritage, and resilience, which is why we wear our kente stoles during Black History Month together as one proudly. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you for that. We appreciate it sincerely. Thank you. Many thanks. Thank you very much. Any other introductions? Recognized Senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Similar to the senator from District 47, this is not just an introduction, this is a celebration. Today is Arts Day in Maryland. There are going to be about 500 artists and arts organizations represented from every nook and cranny of our state. They'll be down here all day. I hope you'll see them, thank them, and celebrate them. The arts result in $13.7 billion in economic development. The grants are given fairly, transparently, and around the state, and so I hope you'll look out for them. I am very proud to represent you on the State Arts Council as the senator. There's one senator and one member of the House of Delegates, and they do terrific work. While I have the microphone, I just want to welcome my friend, a lifelong teacher, educator, who I know through Caring Matters, an important hospice-related organization in Montgomery County. Tony Robinson is visiting us from District 15.
Excellent. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for your work as well. And thanks to the arts community. I know we have a large number. They were delayed a little bit, I think, with the traffic for good purposes of delay, but I know that they'll be around today. So, yes, Senator from 38th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have members of the Rural Maryland Council that arrived early and are all over the campus today. So I hope my colleagues will meet with them, see them in the hallways, but they are here to advocate for rural Maryland, and I think they're doing a quick stop by in the chamber this morning, and including is our mayor of Delmar, Maryland, Ben Jordan will also be joining us. So wonderful. Again, just want to let you know they're here and they are working hard.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Senator, and welcome to rural Maryland. The folks who are joining us from rural Maryland, thank you for being here with us. Senator from the 29th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have some guests in the gallery, the Gilliams, if they could stand to be recognized. We appreciate the fact that you came. I think Dad hasn't made it quite from parking the car yet. But we appreciate your trip from Southern Maryland and look forward to having you around today. So if we could wish him a warm welcome.
Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Senator from the Capital City.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today is Maryland Affordable Housing Coalition's Advocacy Day. They are in the Miller Senate building in one of the conference rooms. I know several of the senators stopped by this morning, but they will be going door to door to the different offices with their legislative priorities. Hopefully you'll have a chance to connect with them and hear about what they're advocating for this session. Thank you, Mr. President.
Excellent. Thank you, Senator, and welcome to the Affordable Housing Coalition. Certainly they always have a large contingent here, and look forward to hearing from them today. We do have some folks from the Maryland Judiciary, including our wonderful Chief of Staff's sorority sister, who are joining us in the gallery, Dominique Jonigan Simmons, as well as Jamie Walter and Kathleen Mayer. And if we could just welcome them with a warm Senate welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Yes, Senator from the 37th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got some protocol business to take care of. Would now be appropriate?
Senator may proceed.
Thank you. And colleagues, for a moment, I'd like to draw your attention to your desks. There are, Cupid has struck once again, and the tulips are a sign of spring and warmer things to come. It's a wonderful way to go into Valentine's Day weekend, which was made all possible by our protocol team, our staff, Allison O'Brien, Carrie Duffy Doyle, Cindy Nazeth, who's in this room. So if you could join me to give them a little thank you and an appreciation, a warm Senate thank you, that would be a great Valentine gift for them.
Thank you very much, and thank you for that wonderful gift this morning. Thank you.
And I know we have a busy day, Mr. President, and to get things going in a positive note, permission to use the senator's name.
Senator may proceed.
It's a day early, but it's never too early to celebrate a birthday. And we're going to be in pro forma tomorrow, and so we won't be here. But today is a great day to celebrate and wish happy birthday to our very own Senator Mary Beth Carrozza.
All right.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Turns out you will not be where you always want to be on your birthday tomorrow, so it's all right. Senator from the 40th District, Baltimore City.
Thank you, Mrs. President. My colleague from Prince George's County did an exceptional job in recognizing his brothers. I want to recognize a couple of them in particular. The 40th District is home to 5 of the Divine Nine organizations, 5 of the Divine organizations, and it's also home to the Pi Omega chapter of Omega Psi Phi. We're joined this morning by its basilisk, George Hendrick, and 2 of my constituents, Zane Cypress, as well as Eric Brown. It would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge these brothers. Thank you so much for joining us this year.
Excellent. Thank you, Senator. The Kappa's introducing the Qs. You know, it's all this. It's putting the rivalry to bed here in the Senate. That's all right. I also have some 46 district members who I'm so pleased were able to come down and see the Senate today, joined by Robert Yoakum, Terrell Brooks, and Natasha Zapeta. Great to have you all. If we could give them a warm Senate welcome from the 46th district. All right, I think that does it for introductions. Do we have any further introductions? All right, we are going to do, we'll proceed as follows. So we have the Lincoln Day speech, which the senator from the 37th is going to present to us today. We're going to jump into the work after that, and we'll do as much as we can, sort of seeing the timing there. The monks are supposed to be joining us. It was supposed to be at 11, although the timing is quite delayed. So we'll see where we are. We may end up having to recess and then re-adjourn or come back together when they are in the area. The one note, and I'll say this again before they arrive, there are some specific cultural sensitivities, particularly with the monks, that we'd ask everyone to please remain in your seats and please make sure that there's plenty of space. They do not engage or interact with members as they are on their journey, and so please just make sure to give them space as they are on the floor. So I'll have some reminder notes for some of their cultural sensitivities as well when they arrive. So with that, let's go ahead. If we could ask the senator from the 37th district to join us up front on Lincoln's birthday here today for our annual Lincoln Day speech. And Senator, if you just hit the red button.
Testing. It's working. Good morning, colleagues. How's everybody feeling today? I hope this comes off smooth because I've tried to make sure that all the run-ons and my wording has been streamlined so this will go smoothly. So here we go. Mr. President, colleagues, and guests, it's a humbling honor to have the opportunity to share my thoughts and perspectives on President Abraham Lincoln. Today is special because it is also President Lincoln's birthday. There's a lot of history that has been shared in this sacred chamber about President Lincoln, the Civil War, and how our state, citizens, and even this General Assembly were involved in the war. Too much for one set of remarks, and too much that is open for hindsight interpretation. This was a time in our nation's history that many consider to be our most terrible storm. To me, understanding and appreciating President Lincoln begins with the individual. He was self-educated, a self-proclaimed prairie lawyer who, after many moves from his birthplace in Kentucky and short careers, eventually set up shop in Springfield, Illinois. So with that, in his honor, may it please the Senate. President Lincoln's approaches and philosophies stem from his lifetime experiences as a farmhand, rail splitter, store clerk, flatboat operator, and what many would describe from that time as working class background. All of this was built on his world knowledge, which began with reading, learning, and understanding our nation's Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and the papers of our founding fathers. Although I am sure he did not enjoy losing, to his credit, he was also a failed politician of sorts, taking on controversial issues that were inconsistent with his understanding and beliefs of the Declaration of Independence and Constitution, specifically the Mexican-American War. These experiences only fortified his dedication to the purity of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, and to me, most importantly, his constituents. President Lincoln held a tragic sense of life that allowed him to pity rather than blame. He was known to hide bitterness with laughter. His moral compass was directed by his word and his ability to fulfill his own promises. While he was considered a moderate at the time, His ideals were honor, loyalty, and integrity, which were fueled by his words, "Let us have faith that right makes might, and that in faith let us, to the end, dare to do our duty as we understand it." His political career was what I refer to as a three-peat. First serving in the Illinois State Senate, later in the United States Congress, and finally being elected President of the United States in 1860. After his second foray in politics, serving in the United States Congress, President Lincoln had returned to Illinois and enjoyed a very successful legal career. Albeit he was not a shrinking violet, but was also not considered a presidential candidate. This changed with the 1854 Kansas-Nebraska Act, which allowed for the expansion of slavery. At the time, he was a member of the Whig Party. He left that political party to help form a new party, the Republican Party, defined by its opposition to the expansion of slavery. Despite his desire to stand by his word, to follow his understanding beliefs and love for our Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, and his competitive desire to win, nothing could have prepared him for becoming President of the United States on the brink of civil war. After being elected president, he was forced to hide on trains just to get to Washington, D.C. from Illinois. In fact, on that trip, assassins had planned to take his life in Baltimore during his last leg to D.C. That was before his inauguration. At the time, he believed there was still a chance to avert a civil war, find a compromise with southern states over the issue of slavery, which he personally detested, and move the country forward. As we all know, that was not reality because there was no compromise over slavery. This set the stage for President Lincoln's legacy, which to me at its core rests in one phrase from the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As the war progressed, President Lincoln faced his greatest personal challenge, reconciling his beliefs and morals with the realities of trying to save the nation. He knew slavery was inconsistent with the Declaration of Independence. He personally detested it, but he also knew it could forever break the Union. This played out publicly in his State of the Union address on December 1st, 1862, when he encouraged emancipation and emphasized that the country would nobly save or meanly lose the last best hope of earth. Unique to Maryland in my legislative district was the role of Frederick Douglass and his influence upon President Lincoln. As many of you know, Frederick Douglass is a native of Talbot County, where many descendants currently still reside. And on behalf of the Frederick Douglass descendants, thank you to this General Assembly for supporting efforts to create the Anna Murray Douglass Visitor Heritage Center in Caroline County, the former home of Anna Murray Douglass. Frederick Douglass found hope and opportunity in President Lincoln and served as a great influence in his administration. Although Frederick Douglass was not a member of the Lincoln cabinet, he helped shape the Emancipation Proclamation formally enacted on January 1st, 1863, which reshaped President Lincoln's approach to dealing with slavery by declaring all people held as slaves in rebellious Confederate states to be free, allowing them to join the Union military, and it also served to strategically dissuade foreign nations from rendering support to the Confederacy. Shortly thereafter, on November 19, 1963, following mass casualties at the Battle of Gettysburg, over 51,000 perished, President Lincoln redefined the purpose of the Civil War. He linked the losses of the war to the Declaration of Independence by offering our nation a second founding to solidify the principle of democracy, connecting it to our founding principles of liberty and equality, ensuring a government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Looking forward to shortening the war and reintegrating southern states, President Lincoln proposed a 10% plan, providing amnesty for Confederate supporters, a plan for states to reestablish governments and re-enter the Union, and abolish slavery. While the war effectively ended on April 9, 1865, when General Lee surrendered at the Appomattox Courthouse, the war did not officially conclude until August of 1866, when then President Johnson officially proclaimed the end of insurrection nationwide. Tragically, President Lincoln was assassinated on April 14, 1865, months earlier. President Lincoln's journey is a testament, if not a prophecy, to all of us, not just as citizens, but as individuals who have been entrusted by the faith and convictions of our constituents to represent their interests to the best of our ability. Knowing full and well there are limitations, I knew I would mess up. Knowing full and well there are limitations, and that our task is to navigate those limitations without undermining those convictions that we hold so high and that have taken us to this great honor and responsibility. President Lincoln was able to do this during the most divisive era in our history by uniting people around the purity and principles of our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. God bless you all. God bless Abraham Lincoln, the state of Maryland, and the United States of America. After all, it has been said to be the last best hope of earth. Thank you.
Well done, sir. Well done. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yes, recognize the Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, first of all, you didn't mess up. That was an
That's
excellent
right.
speech. And Mr. President, I ask that the Senate journalize the Lincoln Day address offered and presented by our good friend from the Midshore, Senator Johnny Mounts.
Absolutely. Without objection, we will journalize the remarks and thank the Senator for his time and also his flexibility and addressing on the day of Lincoln's birth. Thank you very much for your work, and we very much appreciate it. Thanks for helping us to start the day today. All right. Let's see. I think that should... let's go ahead and jump into the work for now, timing-wise. So we consider the reading of the journal from the prior legislative day. We have some bond initiatives. This is calendar 20. Clerk will read the bond initiatives.
Number 1, Senator Attar, 2005-2007 Denison Street, Budget and Taxation.
Majority Leader moves so be considered the reading of the bond initiatives. They're ordered to the Capital Budget Subcommittee. Let's go to calendar 21. Clerk will read the bills.
Number 1, Senator Attar, 3403 Fairview Avenue Improvements, Budget and Taxation.
Majority Leader moves so be considered the reading of the bond initiatives. They are again ordered to the Capital Budget Subcommittee. Let's see. Let's do the Executive Nominations Report. This is report number 1. Clerk will read the report.
Report number 1, the Senate Executive Nominations Committee reports favorably on the attached appointments and recommends the Senate of Maryland advise and consent to these appointments. Benjamin Brooks, Chair.
Recognizing the Chair of the Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Report number 1 is the list of recess appointees that the committee heard from on this past Monday night. The list includes some of the gubernatorial secretaries as well as the district court judges and a state board appointee. The names can be found in your floor system under the Other Business tab. I request that we consider these appointees in regular session under Rule 22A and move that we special order this report until the appropriate time on Monday, February 16th, 2026.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Senator. Senator has moved for us to accept the report and special order to the appropriate time on Monday, the 16th? 16th? Is that right?
Monday the 16th, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you, Senator. All right, any objections to the Senator's motion? Without objection, so ordered. We will, the report will be special ordered to the appropriate time. Let me just... All right, let's do, their schedule is looking a little bit better, so we're thinking probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes that the monks will arrive. So let's go ahead and start with the Budget and Tax Committee, and we'll do the second reader, see how far we get, and kind of take it from there. This is report number 1. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 25, Chair, Budget and Taxation Committee, Income Tax, Cybersecurity Technology, and Service Tax Credit alterations, favorable with one amendment.
Recognize the senator from Frederick County, Frederick City is the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a departmental bill. It alters the cybersecurity technology and service tax credit. It just changes the criteria to make it more expansive so that it's allowable to a wider universe so that more businesses can take advantage of this tax credit to protect their data and information. There's one amendment, and that is simply to add co-sponsors. It was voted unanimously out of committee. Therefore, I move for adoption of the amendment and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the one committee amendment is adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 25 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 58, Senator Brooks, Property Tax Credit, Retail Service Stations, Conversions, favorable with two amendments.
Recognize the chair of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sure many of you in your districts have service stations that went out of business and are just sitting there and have been sat for a while, and this is a bill to help that, to provide the authorization for local governments to issue a tax credit and hopefully improve communities by doing that. There are two amendments. The first is techno and adds co-sponsors, and the second strikes the provisions from the bill that authorizes the state to include a 50% reimbursement to local governments for the credit. Move adoption of the amendments in the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Yes, recognize the senator from the 28th district.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for the floor leader.
On the amendments, senator may proceed.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the property tax credit, who would the credit go to?
To the owner of the property, presumably the next owner who would then work to improve the property for a new business.
Okay, so you have a service station sitting there, abandoned, and someone come to buy that particular property.
I mean, theoretically, it could be the same owner of the property who would be able to utilize it if they were to be doing something to improve that property.
Okay, so a new owner or the current owner who wants to improve it. So why is that necessary? Because service stations are pretty much, most of them are these great locations, right? They're at the corner. I mean, so people can turn right in, turn left in, basically great access. And I had a service station like that in Charles County in Bryan's Road at the corner of 210, Indian Head Highway, and Livingston Road. And CVS came in and bought that service station and made a brand new, nice building, right? So why would anyone like CVS or have money to buy or own those very valuable real estate really need a tax credit to, basically make money?
Maybe the situation you described was very favorable for CVS to come in there, but there are service stations that are vacant everywhere across the state. There's one right out on West Street. It's been there for years. It's right over by the Westin, and it'd be a great thing if they had some incentive to get moving on that property to improve the downtown area.
Okay. So I'm just really wondering, so why do we need to really empty our tax rolls to help corporations do more business? I mean, so like I said, these are valuable real estate locations. So why do we need, as a state, to step into a business transaction to encourage it or not? I mean, commercial properties are very valuable, so I'm just curious why we would want to kind of do that.
So one of the reasons that sometimes these stations languish there for a while is it's expensive to deal with environmental issues. There are underground tanks that have to be removed, things like that, and so there are costs associated with it to make the property viable for some other purpose. But just in general, though, this is an authorizing legislation to all the local jurisdictions. So each one of them can decide whether or not to do this. It would be totally a local issue to decide whether they wanted to offer a property tax credit. There is no state monies involved in this.
No state money. So the fiscal note is neutral for the state.
Well, originally, if you look at it, you may see that there was a cost associated. The original bill did have the state reimbursing counties who participated in the program at a 50% rate, but it was decided by the committee that we would take that out and allow the counties to make decisions on their own without that additional benefit.
Okay. Well, thank you, Floor Leader.
All right, thank you, Senator. On the two amendments, any further discussion? Any objections to the two amendments? Without objection, the two committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 58 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 163, Senator West, Income Tax Addition Modification for Federal Tax Exempt Income Alterations, favorable with one amendment.
Recognize the Senator from Montgomery County as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, Senate Bill 163 just deals with earned income outside the country. The feds have already moved in this posture. The state actually already is in line with the feds. This just clarifies and codifies the current posture of the state of Maryland. There's one amendment. It adds a sponsor. I move the amendment and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the one committee amendment is adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 163 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 170, Senator Lewis Young, Task Force on Education Funding and Student Population Growth, favorable with one amendment.
Recognize the bill sponsor as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This would establish a task force on education funding relative to student population growth. The way the formula is designed now, it's based on student enrollment in September. And of course, the funds aren't released till the following July. For some of our higher growth jurisdictions, that creates a real problem in terms of unfunded students. So this bill sets up a work group, and there are just two amendments. One would include a representative from the Baltimore Teachers Union, and the other amendment changes the staffing of the task force, which eradicates the fiscal note. Therefore, I move the amendment as well as the favorable committee report.
All right. Floor leader moves for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the one committee amendment is adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 170 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Just a reminder, Senator, this will be an interim request. Should it move through for task forces, we're watching them closely. So, clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 188, Chair, Budget and Taxation Committee, Maryland Transportation Authority Revenue Bond Limit Increase, favorable.
I recognize the Senator from District 6 as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 188 is a departmental bill, increases the debt capacity of the Maryland Transportation Authority from $4 billion to $5 billion, subject to existing bond issues request. The bill takes effective is July 26. This is a non-budget revenue increase, significantly beginning early of 2029. There's no amendments. Move adoption to a favorable report, Mr. President.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Yes, recognize the minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. If the floor leader would yield for a question, please.
Will floor leader yield? Senator may proceed.
It's recognized that the debt capacity was changed in 2024 from $3 billion to $4 billion in the Ports Act. And that was directly related to the Key Bridge collapse. So now 2 years later, we're going to $5 billion. Is this dedicated towards the Key Bridge, or is it any use that the Transportation Authority could have?
Well, the information states that it's requested this increase in response to financial needs associated with MTTA, the Capital Preservation Program, and the Francis Scott Key restructuring.
And so it could be a number of different uses that the authority has, but including the Key Bridge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, that was a really good question. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Senator.
Yes, sir.
All right, any further discussion on the report? If not, all in favor of the report say aye, opposed nay. The ayes have it, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any further amendments, or are there any amendments to the bills or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 188 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 247, Senator Bidel, Biotechnology Investment Incentive Tax Credit Conversion to Grant Program, favorable with one amendment.
Recognize the Senator for Prince George's as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 247 really is a part of our growth agenda. We know that biotechnology is one of our growth areas for the state of Maryland. And so what this is right now, it's currently in the form of a tax credit. And what we're doing with this bill is converting it from a tax credit to a grant program, and then there are also a tying in an appropriation of $10 million that is associated with that grant program, with the idea being that we will have even higher utilization of that program that encourages smaller biotech businesses and biotech startups to grow and thrive in the state of Maryland. The fiscal impact for 2027 is $7 million, and for FY28, it's $10 million. There is one amendment to add sponsors. Move adoption of the amendment and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the one committee amendment is adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 247 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 287, Senator McCray, Economic Development, Tax Increment Financing, Non-Contiguous Areas, favorable.
Recognizing the chair of the committee is the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not actually the floor leader. I moved to special order until the appropriate time on Tuesday.
That's fine. All right. Any objections? Without objection, the bill will be special order to the appropriate time on Tuesday. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 356, Senator Waldstreicher, Income Tax Credit, Parent of a Stillborn Child, favorable with one amendment.
Recognize the senator from Montgomery County as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 356 establishes a refundable state income tax credit for a parent of a stillborn child. The credit is equal to $1,000 for each birth for which a certificate of birth resulting in stillbirth has been issued by the Maryland Department of Health, or for which a certificate of fetal death or its equivalent has been issued by another state. The credit may be claimed only for the taxable year in which the stillbirth occurred, and the bill takes effect July 1st, 2026, and applies to tax year 2027 and beyond. And last session, this bill passed the Senate unanimously. There is one amendment to add sponsors, and I move adoption of the amendment and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the one committee amendment is adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 356 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 379, Senator Gazone, Recovery Resident Grant Program Funding, favorable.
Recognize the senator from Baltimore County as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Senate Bill 379 is extending a program that has been in existence since 2023 that provides grants from the Maryland Department of Health. They are grants to entities called Recovery Residence Programs, and they provide services to people who have substance addictions, and they provide an alcohol and drug-free housing to individuals with these sorts of addictive disorders. It extends for until 2030, $500,000 per year. There are no committee amendments, and move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 379 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Just give us one moment, check timing. All right, let's do a quorum call before we start third reading calendar.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their presence? Madam Secretary, if we could ring the bells, please. Give it just a moment. All right, the clerk will take the call. With 41 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session. Let's start with third reading calendar number 4. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 14, Chair, Finance Committee, Health Insurance, Small Business Health Options Program, Enrollment Effective Dates.
Senate Bill 14 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their presence? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, did I say their presence? My brain's not clicking. All right, clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 14 have received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 21, Senator Simon Narrow, Natural Resources, State Parks, Maryland Golden Age Pass.
Senate Bill 21 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 21 have received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 22, Chair, Finance Committee, Department of Disabilities, Housing Programs, and Affiliated Foundation Establishment.
Senate Bill 22 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 22 have received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 43, Chair, Finance Committee, Financial Institutions, Maryland Community Investment Venture Fund, and Regulation of Entities Revisions.
Senate Bill 43 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 43 have received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 65, Senator Kagan, Election Law, Campaign Finance, Exploratory Committees.
Senate Bill 65 is on third reading for final passage. Senators, this is an emergency bill. Recognize the minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. If the floor leader could yield for a quick
Floor to you.
question.
Senator, may proceed.
Of course.
We've talked about this for a number of different reasons, but one of the things was that an exploratory committee is not available to a currently elected official, correct?
That is correct. You can have an exploratory committee, Senator, as you know well, but there is, but the limitations, restrictions are different.
So that was my question. Last page, a donation to an exploratory committee is not subject to any limits. Why is the bill deciding to allow somebody that is just forming an exploratory committee to not be bound by any of the limits that an elected official is bound to?
Great question, and that's because of court rulings. It's seen as a First Amendment issue. So if someone is not currently holding office, someone could donate $5 million to them. The challenge that this bill seeks to address is not limiting, which is not an option, but it is disclosure. There needs to be more transparency, and it has to be clear what money raised by a candidate who's exploring a race can be spent on. So they can't go and buy a new car. They can rent campaign headquarters, they can do a poll, they can hire staff and buy computers, things that are directly connected to a campaign.
Okay, so the transparency is in the expenditures, not in the donations.
It's both. Right now, there are no guardrails at all for transparency, and so people don't know where the money is coming from, and they don't know where it's going to. So there would be no caps for someone who's not in office now, but it would be clear to our friends in the press and to voters.
Okay, so while there's no caps to it, they still must disclose who their contributions are coming from.
Yes, Senator, that's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right, on third reading, final passage, any further discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 65, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 70, Chair, Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee, Adult Education, High School Diploma Pathways, Maryland Diploma Works Pathways.
Senate Bill 70 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 70, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 83, Senator Simon Nair, Health Occupations Grounds for Discipline, Federal and Court Actions.
Senate Bill 83 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 83, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 128, Chair, Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee, Maryland Military Department Supervision of State Active Duty Personnel. This is an emergency bill.
Senate Bill 128 is on third reading for final passage. Senators, this is an emergency bill. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 128, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, let's go to calendar number 5. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 133, Chair, Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee, Business Occupations and Professions, State Boards and Commissions, Sunset Extension.
Senate Bill 133 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 133, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 134, Chair, Finance Committee, Medicare Supplement Policies, Issuance Requirements.
Senate Bill 134 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 134, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 139, Chair, Finance Committee, Insurance Third-Party Administrators, Enforcement.
Senate Bill 139 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 139, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 141, Senator Hester, Election Law, Election Misinformation, Election Disinformation, and Deepfakes.
Senate Bill 141 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 141, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 161, Senator Simon Nair, Natural Resources, State Park Entry Fee Exemptions.
Senate Bill 161 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 161, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 164, Chair, Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee, Natural Resources, Pamela J. Kelly, Tremendous Maryland Program, alterations.
Senate Bill 164 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote and wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative and a tremendous constitutional majority, Senate Bill 164 is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 167, Senator Simon Eyre, Department of Natural Resources, License, Permits, Registrations, and Public Profiles, Notation of Veteran Status.
Senate Bill 167 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 167, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 169, Senator Lamb, Hospitals, Emergency Pregnancy-Related Medical Conditions, Procedures.
Senate Bill 169 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 32 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 169, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, so let's go to calendar 6. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 186, Senator Augustine, State Board of Examiners and Optometry Examination Requirements and Time Period for Inactive Status.
Senate Bill 186 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 186, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 199, Senator Simon Eyre, Individuals with Disabilities and Service Disability Veterans Boating Fund Eligible Companions.
Senate Bill 199 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 199, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 205, Chair of Finance Committee, Health Insurance, Mental Health, and Substance Use Disorders Codification of Federal Requirements.
Senate Bill 205 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. 43 votes in the affirmative. Senate Bill 205, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 207, Chair, Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee, Higher Education, Guaranteed Access Grant Program, applicability.
Senate Bill 207 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 207, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 226, Chair, Finance Committee, Maryland Heritage Area Authority and Heritage Areas alterations.
Senate Bill 226 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to explain their vote? Change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 226, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 228, Chair, Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee, Maryland Environmental Service authorizations, requirements, alterations.
Senate Bill 228 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 228, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 248, Senator Bidel, Maryland Technology Development Corporation investments and alterations.
Senate Bill 248 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. 44 votes in the affirmative. Senate Bill 248, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 260, Senator C. Jackson, Maryland Healthcare Commission membership.
Senate Bill 260 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 44 votes in the affirmative. Senate Bill 260, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, we have one more here. Let's go number 7. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 32, Chair, Education, Energy, and Environment Committee, State Athletic Commission, blood testing contestants, timing.
Senate Bill 32 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 32, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 88, Senator Guile, State Board of Examiners for Audiologists, Hearing Aid Dispensers, Speech Language Pathologists, and Music Therapists, authority to issue limited license to practice music therapy.
Senate Bill 88 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 88, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 96, Senator Simon Ayer, Sheila E. Hickson, Behavioral Health Services, Matching Grant Program for Service Members and Veterans.
Senate Bill 96 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 96, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 192, Chair, Education, Energy, and Environment Committee, Military Family Inclusion Act.
Senate Bill 192 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 192, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 216, Chair, Finance Committee, on Employment Insurance Confidentiality of Information.
All right, Senate Bill 216 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 216, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 244, the President Code Revision Health Maryland Medical Assistance Program.
Senate Bill 244 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 244, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. I believe our guests are very, very close, so I think we're just going to pause for half a second to move forward. Yes, recognize